So now Galileo went to work. He spent the next 6 years working on his masterpiece, which he called the Dialogue Concerning the Two Chief World Systems. Translated in today's language, that would be debate on the two main worldviews in the world. And it's a fictional conversation. We've seen books like that before. C.S. Lewis has written books like that, fictional conversation between a Copernican, which represented Galileo's views, and an Aristotelian. And then they had a third guy who was sort of the more neutral person in between these two competing worldviews. Now, the book had an obvious bent towards the Copernican model, but Galileo had to be careful, and he was trying to be consistent with the Pope's expectations that the book be balanced, and he was only treating heliocentrism hypothetically. So he included what he knew from conversations with his best friend, or I don't know if his best friend, but his friend, the Pope's favorite argument. And apparently Pope Urban's favorite argument was something like this: God could surely, in his infinite power and wisdom, have made the world in any manner he wanted, and that could be unthinkable by us how he actually did that. And at the same time, he could have it appear to us in any way that he wanted. I think I've heard similar arguments in the mouths of some, dare I say, young earth creationists at times. God could have done it any way he wanted, and we couldn't even understand it, and he could make the world appear to us in any way that he wanted. And so, this is the continuation of the argument from Pope Urban, and so what folly it would be for any natural philosopher, read scientist, to limit and restrict the divine power and wisdom to some particular fancy of his own. A stern warning, for any scientist, that you better be really sure of what you're saying. You're saying God did it this way when God could do it anyway, even a way you can't think of, or none of us could think of. And it was a way to kind of almost put the last word on the subject, right?
It seems to me that could be used on either way. It could be used.
Yes.
It could be used by the Copernicans. It could be used by the Ptolemies. It could be used.
And I tried to find some evidence of what Urban meant by that and what Galileo meant, because here's the key mistake that Galileo made. He put those words in his fictional dialogue in the mouth of the Aristotelian, who he had given a name, Simplicio, which had double meaning, but one of the meanings was a simpleton. And in the dialogue, he comes off as quite a stupid fellow. And so he's put Pope Urban's favorite argument into the mouth of this guy. Now, was he thinking, okay, well, Urban is thinking this is a good argument against a Copernican scientist. Well, I'm going to turn it around and show that it could be used against him, an Aristotelian. I didn't find any evidence that that's what happened. That's what Galileo was thinking. It could be. But the problem was he just put it in the mouth of this simple-minded character. And he had just insulted not only his friend, but the Pope. And so what many people have attributed to this war between religion and science is much better explained by personal and political variables.